Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Tonight I just need to bring you a video that's very disturbing, and I mean everybody will agree with me. So we are facing this homeless crisis right across the country, and if I'm not wrong, right across the continent. So I just want us to sit for 1 minute and think about what's happening to the people outside in the cold. Those people have nowhere to go. Who's to be blamed? That's the main question here. Who is to be blamed for what they are going through? Yes, some of them are addicted to drugs or anything that's unlawful, but mostly I think the government should be held responsible for this because, in a matter of fact, that housing should be free for every citizen in the country. But what's happening? Those in power are more focused on ammunition, war, than being focusing on the citizens that put them into power. So now they have a comfortable life, and those people that voted them into power is struggling. So guys, let's have a look at this video, and you tell me if you think it's fair towards those people living on the street. And just to think that most of them, those are the ones that saved our lives, the veterans and all those people. Some of them are doctors, some of them are lawyers, but circumstances put them there. It's not for us to judge, but it's for us to help and to realize that who's are human. And I won't like being put on the street, especially in the winter. Guys, so let's have a look at this video and you tell me if there's any solution that can be used to fight this homelessness all across the continent. So just put in the comment box, what do you think? What's the way forward? How do we deal with this? Maybe some of the solutions can end up in Parliament. But for now, let's have a look at the video.
Do you think that homelessness is just an issue for a small, poor group in society? Think again. 13 years old, homeless, without support, abandoned on the street, trying to survive on their own. A young father, hands trembling, tightly pulls the tarp over the torn tent, trying to protect his pregnant wife from the biting cold of a Chicago winter. Or the veteran who once sacrificed for the homeland, now sleeping rough on the sidewalk, hungry, lost, waiting for a miracle that never comes. This is not a science fiction movie. This is the heartbreaking reality happening right in the heart of Chicago, the city that was once a symbol of opportunity, of the dream of a better life. The sparkling lights on Michigan Avenue cannot hide the truth that day by day, thousands of people are pushed onto the streets with no shelter, no hope for tomorrow. What really happened to the American dream? Is Chicago really the promised land, or just a ghost town, where invisible people gradually disappear in the indifference of society? Chicago, the third most populous city in the United States, famous for its bustling atmosphere and fast-paced lifestyle. When mentioning Chicago, everyone immediately thinks of O'Hare International Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world. But if you expect spotless waiting areas, spacious corridors, and top-notch service, prepare to be shocked. Instead of busy entrepreneurs and eager tourists exploring America, this airport is now filled with images that leave everyone stunned. The homeless people lay sprawled on the floor amidst the flow of passers-by. Behind every homeless person is a story. A homeless man temporarily staying overnight at Gate 2 of O'Hare Airport said he needs surgery after discovering a lung problem. Difficulties piled on top of difficulties. Unable to raise the money for surgery, he developed pneumonia. He has now received disability benefits and hopes to undergo surgery soon. The city of skyscrapers, of dazzling lights, but also the place where thousands of people like Robert have to sleep on the streets every night.
Yeah, well, it's been rough. I've been homeless for the last 2 years now.
It's not that he didn't want to find shelter, But because the shelters were so overcrowded that without a bed, he still had to sleep on the cold floor. So why not choose an alley behind Dunkin' Donuts, where he could wrap himself in a blanket and wait for dawn? Even when he has to sleep outdoors, Robert is not really alone, because the giant rats are always there. In the darkness of the city, they are his only companions. Despite life being full of overwhelming difficulties, Robert never stopped searching for an escape. He applied for jobs at the White Sox and Cubs, hoping for a life-changing opportunity. But the phone never rang, and the interview invitations never came. No one hires him, no one helps him, no job, no money, no home. But his dream is so simple.
A place to stay and not be hungry, and some friends. Well, and some teeth.
This is not just a personal story. It is a tragedy of the entire system. Is the city of Chicago falling into decline like a real-life ghost town? Please like the video and leave a comment below. You know, just one mistake, and a whole life collapses. That's right, you heard it correctly. He once had a job, a home, a girlfriend, a normal life like everyone else. But just one misstep, and Gary fell straight to the bottom of society, a place with no way back.
Okay, I've been homeless for approximately 6 months, and the reason why is because I had unpaid fines and court costs in DuPage County.
After getting out of prison, he had no money, no one to help him, and nowhere to go. He found a room to rent weekly for $140, thinking it would be the starting point to rebuild his life. But the girlfriend left, taking everything with her. Once again, every door slammed shut in front of me. With no other options, Gary turned to Pacific Gardens Mission, a temporary shelter. But even poverty has its price. Here, the regulation requires all furniture to be placed in the hot room to exterminate insects. And the unfortunate event occurred. The next morning, Gary's backpack had disappeared. That backpack was not just an item. It contained everything he had left. His phone and some other personal belongings. No home, no place to stay. The only place to sleep is on the subway. Having lost his shelter, he wandered on the Green Line train, sprawled on the cold, hard seats to find a short nap amidst the crowded carriages. But the tragedy didn't stop there. One night, two strange men approached him and took his identification, a small amount of money, and the Social Security card, the only thing left, was also gone. Notably, lacking identification can make escaping homelessness nearly impossible. That means being barred from federal, state, and county buildings, where social service agencies that assist the homeless are often located. Not only that, but finding a job, securing housing, opening a bank account, receiving food stamps, and disability benefits become much more difficult. However, he always maintains his faith and optimism that one day he will escape the streets and have a warm home. Where have the government and social organizations been in this heartbreaking story? Unbelievable, in a wealthy country like the United States, a person only hopes for a roof over their head, a chance to start anew, something that seems so obvious yet is so far out of reach for people like Gary. Can you imagine? Every morning, thousands of American children still carry backpacks to school. But when the school bell rings, they have nowhere to go back to. The bed is simply a dirty mattress on the floor of a cramped boarding house. A quick cup of instant noodles on the street corner also becomes dinner. What about the bathroom? Maybe the sink at the gas station if you're lucky that day. Dion Pousey, 12 years old, has just lost his home. The boy's mother became homeless, forcing Dion to move in with his grandmother to continue his education. But who would have thought that to sit in the classroom, he had to go through dozens of paperwork, things that a homeless child cannot have. The undeniable truth is that the number of homeless students in Chicago is continuously increasing. Not just a few hundred, but thousands of children are experiencing a precarious life in cheap lodgings, overcrowded shelters, or even sleeping in the backseat of an old car. Although schools have policies to support homeless students with shower and laundry facilities, this issue has not been thoroughly resolved. The question arises, The beautiful numbers about America's development flood the news. But ask the children sleeping on the cold sidewalks. Do they see America as truly better? No, even though there are some incredibly moving stories of helping the homeless, out there are still many lives that have to sleep in tents in the freezing Chicago weather, even down to minus 15 degrees Celsius.
It's rough. It's really rough. It's getting cold.
The cold wind, the rain pattering on the thin tent roof, a small tear in the nylon fabric, seemingly insignificant, but for Laval, it could mean the difference between survival or freezing in the Chicago winter. Laval and Roxanne and his wife do not have a home. They do not expect a fully furnished apartment, a comfortable sofa, or a sturdy front door. They only wish for something simpler, a tent that can withstand the cold wind. Now, other tents have insulation, weather resistance. That's what we really need to survive the winter. Laval said, his eyes fixed on the sturdier tents, but too expensive for his budget. Difficulties piled upon difficulties. His wife is pregnant. Each gust of wind whistling through the gaps in the tent is a reminder that their baby will be born in the cold, in the park, under a fragile tent. Just wait a few more months. Maybe we will have housing. That is the promise from the city's housing support system. But what if the support program is not approved? Laval still regularly meets with his social worker at Jesse Brown Hospital, where the Heartland Alliance program supports homeless veterans. But the procedures, paperwork, and long waiting lists are turning their hope into an endless ordeal. It's truly sad. Humboldt Park, once a destination for picnics, is now a place where hundreds of people huddle in makeshift tents. Laval, Roxanne, and their companions lean on each other, no longer thinking of having a place called home. They just need a shelter to avoid freezing when night falls. Chicago, the city of skyscrapers sparkling with lights, but right under the park canopies, there are people who only wish for a better tent. Is this the American dream that millions of people once hoped for? Not stopping there, imagine that as soon as you get fired, you will become homeless overnight. It sounds heartbreaking, but this is a harsh reality in the city of Chicago. I just got fired. Pucci used to work as a flyer distributor for a jewelry store on Michigan Avenue. A simple job, but at least it helped him make a living. But when the company downsized, 11 people lost their jobs. 11 people lost their chance to hold on to this city. And then, like thousands of others, he was pushed out onto the street. In a city where job competition reaches its peak, even middle-class people with what was once considered a stable income cannot guarantee a prosperous life and a stable home to live in.
Sometimes you don't eat, sometimes you don't get blessed. Sometimes you get to the shelters late, you gotta sleep outside.
Thanks to God, I now have a temporary lodging. But who knows what tomorrow will bring? No job, no income. Everything is so fragile that just a gust of wind could sweep it all away. An apartment, a good job are things that many people take for granted, but for him, they are a distant dream. Chicago, where you can fall from a normal job to the bottom of society overnight. No one is really safe. Are you sure you'll still have a home to go back to tomorrow?
So guys, that's all from me tonight. And I hope we come together and do something about this for the sake of the children, mostly. Because they don't deserve being on the street at such young age. So let's give a helping hand and let's not judge those people. So don't forget to like and subscribe and push that notification button. Thank you guys. See you in my next video.